In the last video, we talked about different options, embedded short options with the insurer. We talked about term, VAs, investment types, and hybrids. Mostly, we talked about the cash values, how that's a put option. And now we're going to talk about this section that I circled here. And so what's this? There's another product feature that's in many whole life and investment type contracts, or whole life or the variable life, and that is that you can get a loan out, a policy loan at a fixed interest rate. And I emphasize fixed interest rate because that's where this issue appears. And we know here, based off this graph, as interest rates increase, your bond value decreases. And so now we just have to think about it this way. So if bond prices decrease as interest rates increase, you could think about the whole life or the variable life product as if it's a bond that's an asset to the insurance company. Well, if it keeps decreasing as interest rates increase, what's going to happen is that the policyholder, they're going to take out as many policy loans as possible and then just take that money and put it in investments that earn a higher interest rate than the policy loan. And so now they have almost like a pseudo arbitrage scenario. It's not arbitrage truly, but they get this scenario where they just get risk-free money almost. And now we've got an issue. So that is where the put option is to the policyholder based off of the interest rates. So now we talked about that. Let's look at what options the insurer gets when they sell a policy. Honestly, I don't see how a callable bond is technically an option. It's more of an asset in my opinion, but we're just going to go with it because that's what they talk about in the reading. So what it's basically saying is with the risk products like your term product, or if the policyholder quits paying premiums. So you could think about the premiums as like a coupon paying bond. And if they quit paying premiums, then they forfeit the policy, and then the company, they get to collect on their reserves. And so the reserves that they were holding on the policyholder, they collect it. And so that's where the callable part comes in. The policyholder is like the issuer of the bond. They quit paying. They're basically calling the bond, and then the insurance company receives a reserve. That's how I view it. And then if you have an investment type product, so you have your VAs, you have your fixed annuities, there's an equity call option. So I'm assuming that the insurance company, they bought several put options to protect against their GMABs, and now they have an equity call option where if the equity value increases, they receive more fees from the policyholder from the M&E fees, because they're receiving a percentage of the account value. So that's why there's an equity call option. The swaption part comes in is because, like, I think of market value adjustments, or I think of the non-guaranteed interest rate. So you're paying a fixed guaranteed rate or fixed rate to the annuitant. Well, if interest rates go down, there's a little bit of a swaption there. You get a little bit of a buffer where you could decrease that crediting rate to the annuitant up to a certain point because there's a guaranteed interest rate. And then that's where the swaption ends. And then for hybrid products, you also get a swaption because if the benefits start coming out, or you're paying more benefits than you expect, so mortality worsens, or your interest rates are worse, the swaption comes in with how much dividends you're paying out, or with you can make adjustments to your non-guaranteed elements, everything up to a certain point. So you get the option to exercise how much benefits you're paying out up to a certain point for a whole life or the universal life variable life products. And then the callable bond is the same thing as we discussed up here with the risk. If the policyholder stops paying premiums, then you receive the difference between the reserve and the cash surrender value.